Here's how you launch your ads with Post ID or Creative ID in AdManage when launching. So first, you're going to want to look into your media library and you're going to want to see which ads have already been launched. So for example, I have these 3 ads, which are 6 different assets that automatically group together. And when I've loaded that in and I can see the status has been launched, this button will appear saying use Post ID or Creative ID. So I can just select that and then it will use these IDs when launching into wherever I want to launch into. If you're an app, you obviously cannot launch from Android to iOS because that doesn't work in Facebook. But if it's just web to web, iOS to iOS, that all works. And yeah, you basically just same process, select ads, load ad set, and click launch ads. If you want to launch an ad that's already in your account that hasn't been launched through AdManage, you would basically just come in here, click load media, go under existing ads, and then just select an ad that already has spend. So you can see this one, I can click use selected ad and it will toggle on my Post ID or Creative ID and I can choose where I want to launch it into and click launch. Same process. So those are the 2 ways you can launch with Post ID and Creative ID. And the difference on when we use either one is if you have a single format ad, we will launch with Post ID. That is, if you only have a 9:16, for example, or 1:1, we use the Post ID. If you have a multi-format or multi-placement, so a 9:16 and 1:1, that's when we use the Creative ID. And the Creative ID does the same functionality as doing the duplicate button in Facebook. And the Creative ID will also be able to keep your Instagram engagement. The only difference is Creative ID will create a fork of your ad. So for example, if you have 50 comments on your original ad, then you launch it with the Creative ID. And then that new ad that you've launched with Creative ID gets 5 new comments. Those 5 new comments will not go back to your old ad, whereas in Post ID, they would go back to your old ad. So Post ID will combine them, whereas Creative ID will create a fork of it. That's the difference and when we use either one.